If psychology is the study of the mind, then understanding the brain is like exploring the mind's home base. Your thoughts, emotions, memories, and behaviors all come from the brain, a 3-pound organ made up of around 86 billion neurons. It's the control center for everything you do. Let's break it down. Your brain is part of the nervous system, which has two main parts: the central nervous system, or CNS, made up of the brain and spinal cord; the peripheral nervous system, or PNS, which connects the CNS to the rest of your body. The PNS has two branches: the somatic nervous system, which controls voluntary movement, like raising your hand, and the autonomic nervous system, which controls things you don't think about, like your heartbeat and digestion. The autonomic system has two more parts: the sympathetic nervous system, which prepares your body for action, the fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms you down, the rest and digest mode. Now, back to the brain itself. We can think of the brain in three major regions: the hindbrain, which controls basic survival functions. It includes the medulla, which handles breathing and heart rate, and the cerebellum, which helps with coordination and balance. The midbrain, involved in movement, sensory processing, and reflexes. The forebrain, the largest and most complex part, where most psychological processes happen. This includes the cerebral cortex, the wrinkled outer layer responsible for thinking, memory, language, and consciousness. The cerebral cortex is divided into 4 lobes: the frontal lobe, planning, decision-making, problem-solving, and personality. Damage here, like in the case of Phineas Gage, can lead to major personality changes. The parietal lobe processes touch and spatial awareness. It helps you know where your body is in space. The occipital lobe handles vision. If you've ever seen stars after hitting the back of your head, this is why. The temporal lobe, involved in hearing, language, and memory. Inside the brain, there are also deep structures important for emotion and memory. The amygdala helps process emotions, especially fear. The hippocampus is critical for forming new memories. The hypothalamus controls things like hunger, thirst, and body temperature. It also links the brain to the endocrine system, which releases hormones. Now let's talk about how the brain communicates. The basic building block of the nervous system is the neuron, a nerve cell that sends and receives messages. Neurons have 3 main parts: dendrites, which receive signals from other neurons; the cell body, which processes the signal; the axon, which sends the signal to the next neuron. These signals travel using tiny electrical impulses, and when they reach the end of the axon, they cross a gap called the synapse using chemicals called neurotransmitters. There are many different neurotransmitters, each with its own role. Dopamine, linked to movement, motivation, and reward. It plays a role in addiction and diseases like Parkinson's. Serotonin affects mood, sleep, and appetite. Low serotonin levels are linked to depression. Acetylcholine, involved in memory and muscle control. It's one of the first neurotransmitters to decline in Alzheimer's disease. Norepinephrine, part of the fight or flight response, increases alertness and energy. The brain is plastic, meaning it can change. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, especially after injury or during learning. For example, if one part of the brain is damaged, another part might take over the lost function. Or when you practice a new skill, like playing piano or speaking a language, your brain actually rewires itself to become better at that task. We've learned a lot about the brain through tools like EEG, which records electrical activity in the brain, fMRI, which shows where blood flows during mental tasks, and case studies of people with brain injuries, which reveal what specific brain regions do by observing what changes when they're damaged. So even though the brain is incredibly complex, psychology helps us understand it one layer at a time. In the next episode, we'll explore how this brain of ours creates something we all experience: emotion. Where do feelings come from? What purpose do they serve? And how do they affect our thoughts and actions? Understanding the brain isn't just biology, it's the foundation of understanding you.